guys, welcome back, and this is Alex at Psycho Alex with Shenanigans and More, and I have my beautiful friend here, Dahlia. Yay! And she's gonna be sharing with us her personal perspective on today's episode, which is about depression, and it's something that I've been meaning to talk about personally, and also I wanted to get other people's perspective. And this week we're gonna have her perspective as a family member living in a situation where a loved one is actually going through well, it's not even like a temporary thing. It's like an official diagnosis of depression, and how it has been going through it together as a family, and her perspective family member going through it. You got me.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna be asking her a few questions, and I also kind of want her to tell me like a little bit of like, I don't know, advice if you have any, as to how you deal with it and how like you felt better a little for anyone who has a family member and they're going through the same things that you're going through and your loved one is going through. But we're gonna get started. So can you tell me, when was the first time you noticed this depression episodes or symptoms in your loved one?
I think the first time I actually paid attention and noticed it was when I was like a teenager, maybe like 14. Oh, I was probably like 15. I really would not notice it. You don't pay attention to those things. It's
Right.
not brought up to your attention. Like,
Right.
especially growing up Hispanic, like that's super taboo.
Yeah.
Like we were speaking about this, how
Yeah.
it's like super taboo, and they just don't speak about these things, or they don't speak about feelings in general.
Right.
So I
Or
have not
mental issues and
mental issues,
having
yeah.
someone like someone to talk to about him, or like
because all
share
of this,
them with each other.
Yeah, because all of this like feelings or like depression and stuff, they consider it like oh, you're not crazy, we don't go through those things, like
Right.
like. So I noticed that maybe a little when I was like 15, that I started realizing that my family member would do things, and I'd be like, can you like do something, like you're just there, like why are you like this, like do you want to talk about it? And they just, no, there's nothing to talk about, because again, speaking about your feelings
Was not accepted or
Yeah.
okay with. Yeah.
So I think I was like a teenager when I first realized
Any
it.
specific like symptoms that you?
Well, I realized that this person will come home from work just straight into bed,
Right.
doesn't want to come out, didn't want to eat. Sometimes she showered because she had to for work, but
Right.
later on in life when she wasn't working, it's a she since I'm already saying it's a she. When she wasn't working, she could go days without coming out of her room. In the dark room, dark curtains were her thing. Growing up, I didn't realize these things, but now that I'm thinking back, when I was a little girl, our small house had 2 big windows, and these big windows were covered by like some emerald dark green curtains.
Right.
And no light will come into our house,
Like thick.
like the thick ones with like 3 different that come with like 3 different pairs,
Layers,
the sheer
yeah,
ones or
yeah,
whatever, and
yeah.
then the darker ones in the back. She had those, and I'd be like, we have such beautiful windows, let's open the curtains. And she'd be like, close the curtains.
Right.
And I'd be like, come on, it's a beautiful day. And she's
Yeah.
like, close the curtains, the light's coming in. As a kid, I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
But now that I'm thinking back, I'm like, oh, that's why.
one of the symptoms.
Yeah, that's why our
Yeah.
house was dark growing
all the time.
up.
Yeah.
And you know how I just said I didn't notice till I was 15? Right now, I just thought about it, and I'm like, I was like 6 when our house was like that, with dark curtains,
Yeah.
But yeah, like after, when she wasn't working, she could go days without eating, without showering, not wanting to come out of her room. Yeah, like.
And the no eating and stuff like that.
Out crying, like. And when you ask, why are you crying? What are you feeling? It's like no explanation. They they can't tell you or they can't explain to you what they're feeling, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, tell me what you're feeling. It's because I don't know. Like,
Right.
I can't. I don't know why I feel this way. Like, I don't even know. And she'll have really good times. And then, like, just one day again, like,
Right.
nothing. Like, I feel like she looked or maybe felt, like, very unmotivated.
Right.
Like, that's what I saw.
Yeah. The when I looked up depression, it says a sense of hopelessness or helplessness,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like you're explaining that. You know, not being first of all not being able to explain it,
Mm-hmm.
because you can't really. Once we're not taught to talk about our feelings, like, you know, it's so hard to like. First of all, understand that it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, pride gets in the way.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you especially in Hispanic families, you know, you can't talk about things because of your pride. You can't look your ego. You can't look like you are not right. You
Mm-hmm.
know, or like
or
you're
in
not
society.
in society,
Or they'll look at you like you're mental health to like Hispanics, like, oh, está loca, you know.
Yeah.
Like, está loca, va al doctor porque está loca.
Right.
Toma medicina porque pues está loca, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like some people will see it like that, and it's like,
well, first of all, you can't care about that, about what people think, or people thinking that that you're crazy, because, you know, I would rather be called crazy than to like be living, you know, in darkness, if you can say it, you know. Honestly, I mean, obviously I haven't gone through a deep phase like that to understand it and to say that I'd rather live crazy than that. But I've always asked for, like, I feel like me personally, and I'll get to talk about me specifically, but me personally, I feel like I always felt like I always asked for help, even if I never necessarily got the help. I always found a way to spoke out about it, and now we're doing this to talk about it and talk about other people. But so how did you feel when she struggled with it? Like, you talked about like seeing it and asking her, how can we help you and all this stuff, but you were a kid. She was a little more grown than you, but how did it make you feel? Like, how did you want to help, or how did you?
So, I was a teenager going through that phase, you know,
crazy hormonal phase,
the teenage phase. So it would actually make me feel aggravated, like mad at this person for being that way, and like, I don't know how to explain. Like, it would.
Well, honestly, you didn't understand it.
I didn't know what.
You didn't know that it was depression.
No, and
the bad word, the D.
Yeah, the D word. So yeah, I would feel like between mad, upset, mostly because I couldn't understand her.
Right.
I couldn't understand what was going on in her head.
And you're a very like leader, protective, like,
yeah,
taking charge. So trying to help and not being able to help must have been
frustrating.
Yeah.
Super frustrating. Like I wanted to know exactly what she was thinking in her head so I could fix it.
Right.
Like, tell me. And like it would piss me off. Like, what do you mean you can't tell me?
Yeah.
Like, that you don't know. You have to know. There has to be a reason for you to be this way. Like, why are you crying? Like, why? Yeah. Like, I would get
who hurt you?
Yeah, who did it?
So I can go kick their butt.
I'll fix this. Just tell me who it was. Yeah. But like, they just couldn't. So those were my feelings before I knew what it was.
Right.
Or whatever.
Okay. And so she was, how did it lead up to being diagnosed? Like, what was finally dropped?
So at this point, this person was, she had her job, and she just came to the point where she was like, I'm not getting out of bed to go to work anymore. I'm not working anymore. Where was I?
That she gave up on work.
So she gave up on work. She was already feeling, I don't know if it came from the depression, but she had been suffering from stress as well.
Right.
In the workplace.
Right.
She was suffering with stress, and then with
So you
this.
couldn't tell whether it was related to her emotions or if it was like so stressful that it like made her depression
Yes,
worse.
I don't know if she had depression first and then she became stressed, or if it was the stress that caused her depression. You know, like I didn't know. I was a teenager as well, so I didn't really know.
Yeah.
Like, and so she just called, not coming to work. She had already been going to the doctor, and I don't know if it was like if they do this at every clinic, but at least the one we used to go to, before the doctor sees you, they always give you a survey about yourself.
Oh, like, like
how are you feeling?
Do you have suicide thoughts? Are you in a domestic behavior?
Have you ever been diagnosed with depression? All these questions.
Yeah.
And one day I told her, you just need to write down. Don't
truth.
lie, because this is what we're taught. Just lie and put no for everything.
Yeah.
That's what she's like. Oh no, have you dealt with depression? Just put no. Like, you don't even know what that is. Just put no. Like, so so all the, or skip the question.
Yeah.
Skip the question, and that's what I felt we were taught. Like, or being the leader that I thought I was. I'd be like, here, let me fill it out for you.
You were. You were. Okay, even if nobody tells you, you were, and you kept your family strong and through this whole thing.
So I'd be like, here, I'm gonna ask you the question.
Yeah.
And I'll write down what you're feeling.
I'm gonna be honest about it.
Yeah. I was like, and like if she told me write no for that, I'd be like, oh no, that's a yes.
That's a yes.
That's a yes.
I've seen you do this.
Like, yeah, she's done that. She's done that. So that's the survey. The doctor was like, okay, you're like depressed, like you need to get help, you need to speak to someone. She didn't want to get that help where you open up and speak about, because besides whatever she was going through at the time, she was afraid, this person was afraid to think back on her past. Apparently she was like, I don't want them to ask me about my past, and I'm like, well, what if you just tell them you don't want to talk about it? And then, so she just didn't want to talk to someone about it at that moment. And so the doctor still was like, I'm gonna diagnose you. You're getting diagnosed because I'm looking at you. Like, he's looked at everything. He's like, but you need to get help. This is what a Hispanic parent does to avoid anything, is stop going to the doctor.
Oh yeah,
you missed the appointment.
Oh yeah. I one of the
they're calling you, your appointment was missed. Oh click. Like,
yeah.
I don't know if all Hispanic parents do that, but at least my parents would just avoid it. If there was something,
I'm not sick if I don't go to the doctor.
Yeah, I'm not sick if I don't show up. Like,
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, dude. Like, they're telling you to go back. She did get She spoke to the doctor or whatever. He gave her pills. She was under medication for everything that we marked down, and that he was like, you need to get the help. They kept calling her, come into your appointments to speak to someone.
So for therapy.
And
if anybody knows and seen my other videos, you guys know I preach about therapy and like getting your mental health checked and making sure you're okay, because suddenly you could be okay and then suddenly you cannot. Something traumatic can happen, something that you haven't spoke about in years, something that you don't even think it resonates to trauma, and then boom, you go through a dark phase, you can say, and then you don't know, like she was saying, I don't know why I feel this way, but it's in there somewhere. And it's okay if, I know that some people like don't believe that in therapy or talking to someone helps. It's okay if they don't feel comfortable yet, if they're not ready for it, but try it. You don't lose nothing with trying it, and actually being able to talk about it, because we go back to the pride and the taboo and the culture, is that I know we're friends and I know I can come to you about certain things, right? But let's say that I wouldn't necessarily come to you about my mental health, about me having suicidal thoughts or not. And the beauty about it is that, because I maybe I feel like you might judge me, or maybe I just feel like it would be too much for you to handle, right? But at the same time, maybe I'm embarrassed. Maybe it's my shame, the reason why I speak so much about therapy is because I personally feel that talking to a total stranger
that you won't feel
judged, who has no reason to judge me,
that you're not gonna bump into at a family gathering,
and he'll know your deepest darkest secrets,
exactly, at a party or
and
something.
share them with people,
exactly,
which legally they're not able to unless you're hurting yourself or anyone else. So that's why I preach so much about it, because if you don't feel comfortable in talking to a family member, if you don't feel comfortable talking to your friends about it because you feel judged, because you are embarrassed, you can talk to somebody who doesn't know you, who won't be legally able to tell anyone about your deepest darkest secrets and or anything you went through or is going through. And like I said before, your family doesn't even have to know you go to therapy. You could just say, I don't know, I go to yoga every Thursday, and it could be therapy, you know. But I'm sorry to interrupt you. Keep going. So
that's when she got diagnosed.
So how? Yeah. So then how? So now that she did get diagnosed, how did her diagnosis impact the family, and did it suddenly make sense? You were how old now?
I was still a teenager.
Oh, you were still a teenager.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
how did that impact you?
But that was a few years later from like
actually
noticing it. It was within like the next year, and then that's when like she was like, I'm done with this job.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
quit.
Did the diagnosis, the doctor
hide in my dark room.
Yeah, and then and then that's when they gave her pills, and then so we were like, oh, okay, like depression, that's a thing, like it was brought up to your attention, like right. Depression is a thing and people get medication for this. She got pills or whatever, and like
did those
like we still didn't really know what it was,
right.
What depression was, but we just knew it was a diagnosis from the doctor, so that she was sick, but we didn't really understand what the sickness was, or what it meant. And like I'm telling you,
because we couldn't see it.
You can't see the sickness.
See the sickness, mm-hmm. Even though the symptoms are there.
Yeah. So then, like, and I'm telling you, I was a teenager, so I was like, okay.
She got pills, she got diagnosed, and now you're like, okay, my loved one's gonna get better.
Yeah. So I just thought my loved one is just gonna be fine from now on because the doctor's fixing her. The right. doctor gave her the medication necessary for her to be fine.
Okay. But how did it impact? So that's how it impacted you. And what about the rest of the family?
With the rest of the family, I feel like maybe they realized it. I can't speak for them, honestly. Yeah. Like, I can speak to what I saw. But
did the behavior towards her change? Like, that you guys, like, interacted with her differently?
Well, we wouldn't interact with this person. Like, we would just be like, oh, okay, she doesn't want to get out of bed. Right. Oh, this person doesn't want to eat. Right. It's okay. And then I'll feed everybody else. Like, she doesn't want to eat, I'll just feed
because
everybody else.
You cook at home. You would take the lead and take charge.
At the time, I was like, well, if this person doesn't want to eat and will cook for herself or anybody else, I'll cook for everybody. I don't mind it. Like, oh, what do you guys want to eat? Are you sure you don't want to eat? Okay, fine, then don't eat. You know,
right.
Like
frustration
still, and another adult in the household was working. I don't really feel like they were around as much to realize, right? Like as they should have been, maybe, right? But that's just part of also Hispanic
the culture
and the cultural thing of like, we need to work, we need to get this money, right? And yes, like
focus on what matters.
Focus on that. So I don't really think they would really understand it, or like they were really there to like even realize, like, yeah, when they were there they'd be like, oh damn, she hasn't got out of bed, right? Right, on days off. Yeah.
And so was the medication helping?
All right, so I have a story about the medication.
Okay, go.
Because I'm telling you, I was a teenager,
right?
So legally I couldn't drive, but this person was older than me, so this person could drive, right? But again, it's a sickness you can't see, right. So you're like, oh, they're fine. The medication, the doctor is like, oh, she's gonna be fine with the medication.
Right.
You know? But also, you know, like when you read the way to take a medication, the like you drink this and then on the side it tells you like do not operate
heavy machinery,
like stuff like that. But guess what we do? We don't
read the instructions.
We don't even read it. We're just like, let me take this pill because he said, I remember he said take one every 8 hours or something like that, right?
Right.
Like that's what he said. No one would read it. Nobody
even like says the one that says do not drink with alcohol drinks.
Exactly. I know someone that would drink pain medication with a beer.
Oh,
like, come on, that's like you're just asking to die in the future, like to die of early age because this person will literally do this because he didn't read or care what it said about
acknowledge what the side effects.
So here I go asking for a ride. Because in my head, I'm like, this person is fixed.
Right.
This person is taking medication.
So she
should be fine. And I really need to go from point A to point B.
This is before Ubers
were
a big thing.
Ouch, that hurt me.
I love you.
I feel, I just felt stabbed in the heart right now. Yes, we did not have Uber. We had buses and metros, but...
No, also, this is when stranger danger was a thing.
Oh, big thing.
You could not take a taxi.
This is when white van, no logo, was a thing because they're going to put you in that white van and you better cross the street on the opposite side and run because this van's going to take you and you're just going to not ever come back, you know? So, yeah. And then I'm telling you, where I was living, it was dark. There's not a lot of lights. I was not comfortable taking the bus or metro by myself. Obviously, being a teenager, you didn't know.
A beautiful teenager.
At that time, you didn't know who was just going to kidnap you. You know? So
pop up and offer candy.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. I was just a very scared person. Okay, so...
another thing, too, that person might have taught you... Don't go out in the dark.
Don't go out in the dark.
Don't go out, period.
Yeah. So that sounds like she wanted me to be stuck in my room, huh? Just stay in this room with me.
Stay in this room with me.
Yeah.
Don't go.
So here I go. I asked this person for a ride. This person agrees. Takes me from point A to point B. And at this time, I was with a friend. Mm-hmm. And so she had to make a left turn on a street. Right? You go up. Because the light is on green, you have to go up, and the cars are coming one way, and you have to cross over to make it so you can go your way.
Yeah.
This person didn't cross and go left on the lane she's supposed to. She turned left right away, and we were on the facing opposite.
On a one-way direction, on the one-way street.
On the other way direction.
Oh my god.
So all I see are like headlights and honking, and this person is just like.
Oh my
driving.
god.
Like, this person was out of it, driving.
Yeah.
And I start freaking out.
Wait, did you know how to drive then, but you weren't legal about? Or did you not know
I
how to
had
drive?
already driven. I knew how, but...
In case of an emergency?
Well, I had already been kind of like thinking like, oh, I'm gonna have to drive, and I had drove probably twice, so I knew the brake, I knew the gas.
See how your leader self already was like preparing mentally, like I'm gonna have to start driving, I'm gonna have to do this,
and you know they were like, yeah, you should learn how to drive, and I was like, yeah, I should, and so I knew the gas, I knew the brake, but obviously the person driving didn't trust me because I've driven twice, 4 times max, and so she's like, I'm fine, I can drive, and I was like, okay. We're on the opposite side. I see headlights, I hear honking, and I'm just freaking out, and I'm in the passenger seat. My friend's in the back seat screaming,
oh my god,
asking what is going on, and me saying, calm down, stop screaming, and then
like, bitch, shut up.
And I'd be like, can you make a U-turn? Make a U-turn. We're on the opposite side of the street. Like, the cars are coming. Make a U-turn, you know? Like,
yeah. Like, what are you doing?
Like to me, I didn't know if she was, like,
dazed,
like, what kind of, I don't know what kind of high these pills gave this person or what she was feeling. Because I never asked.
Right.
She had been drinking these pills, but we never asked. So then...
Because the doctor was going to take care of it.
Because the doctor fixed her. Yeah. The pills fixed her.
Right.
So she finally makes a U-turn. She goes back into the street we're at. We park, and she just cries. And I'm like,
so the entire time while she's driving, she's still kind of dazed.
yeah, she's stuck and just seeing the lights. And I tell her, wake up, make a U-turn.
Yeah.
Make a U-turn. They're coming. She makes the U-turn, and like she snaps out of it, obviously, and she turns in, parks, just crying, and like I'm telling her it's fine, I can drive. Like, give me your keys, I can drive. She's like, give me 10 minutes to get myself together. She's like, just give me 10 minutes. Don't talk to me. Nobody talk to me, you know? So,
I can't believe like how scary it must have felt and like frustrating for you, and like shook. Like, so then what happened?
So then this person gets herself together.
The 10 minutes go by.
Yeah, just takes a deep breath. I keep asking, let me drive.
Yeah.
No,
I can take care of it. Let me drive.
No, we're fine. We're gonna make it. I'm gonna take this person home, and we're gonna get home, and we're gonna be fine. Gets home, we pretend this never happened, and goes back in her room, and I was just shook.
I never talked about it. Never talked about like how she felt like with the whole days or with the whole crying.
Well, she just said she felt like I could say maybe like a dazed.
Yeah.
I think it was dazed, because so then at this point I'm asking her about the pills, because after this person freaks out, doesn't want to take medication anymore.
Right.
But also it turns out that you have to take this pill at a certain time, whatever, right? Every time, as soon as the effect was off, she was taking another pill. Because she didn't want to feel
not
depressed anymore.
Right.
So her thing was like, I'm just going to take a pill because, or if she...
So these are like once a day?
I don't even remember what, I don't know how they take pills. I don't remember any of that. I don't remember.
But I'm sure that they'll have like a procedure to it.
There's the procedure to it.
And she was just popping them up like,
so at this point she was like, I don't want to feel sick, and they're saying this fixes me. I'm just going to take one every time I feel sick.
Right.
Not just letting it. But you know, the pills come with the therapy, and I'm telling you,
everything that comes with it.
Everything, you have to follow the rules.
Right.
She was just taking the pills. She was not doing the therapy. So, you know, like maybe if she was doing the therapy, she could let out what she was feeling.
Right.
And wouldn't have to like keep
dozing herself.
Yeah, dozing herself.
Yeah.
She decided to stop taking the pills.
Right.
And just like.
And then that dug her back to how it was before. Was she like able to be like drive, or was she able to like be a little bit responsive, like be more outside of the room while she was taking the pills at least?
Yeah, she would come
like
out
more
of
social and stuff.
I wouldn't say more social, because I'm telling you, like, I don't know what these pills were or which kind of pills she was taking or anything, but she said sometimes she would really feel dazed.
Right.
Or like when she would take the pills, she could sit in the living room.
At least.
But
not she would still be...
But she would still be like a little bit like dazed. I don't know what the pills were. I was a teenager or whatever. When all of this was happening.
Yeah. Wow. That's impressive. Well, and my next question was, how did it help, and how was she acting? And you just told us that it wasn't really like working.
But as I'm saying, I'm pretty sure it works if you follow the whole procedure. I'm pretty sure it helps.
Yeah.
Because this person wasn't following the procedure or like drinking the pills how they're supposed to be
proper way. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And do you think how is she now? I mean, it's been a couple years after this happened. Like, is she going to therapy now?
She is not going to therapy now.
Okay. And she taking the pills?
She's not taking the pills. She stopped taking the pills after that situation that happened. Because she basically told herself, like, I'm drugging myself.
Right.
This is just a drug for me to
feel happy.
To not even to feel happy, to not feel. That's what she said.
Oh, like numbing.
Not feel. Like a numbing, like she wouldn't feel sad. She wouldn't feel happy. It was like a numbing thing.
Right.
And she was like, and I'm getting too used to this numbing thing.
Right.
That I can't do the regular daily activities.
Right.
You know, so she just threw them out, and she's like, I need to try natural solutions.
So I can't even say that word. Hallucinogenic. I can't. Never mind. We're cutting that out. But other methods, natural methods to like feel better.
Yeah. So, and I don't know if she just gave herself a pep talk because she didn't go back to work.
Right.
She just became
enclosed.
She just stayed home and did her own, and she did end up changing and like smiling, and like I don't know if she just decided to throw it in the back of her head,
right,
or just, you know, how she did it.
Yeah.
How, like, I don't understand what, or something snapped in her head. I'm not saying she's fully cured,
yeah,
because she has times where she's perfectly fine for weeks, right, and then it's like she won't come out for a day, right, and you go and you tell her, hey, let's go do this. No, I don't feel like getting up.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, you're gonna start again? Don't do that. Like, don't do that. Let's go. She's so strong. She pushes herself. She's like, I want to stay locked up in this room, but I'm going.
Yeah.
Because I shouldn't do that. She knows, and she pushes herself. You know. So that's
and one of the things that I remember we've talked about before is that she's taken. You guys adopted a puppy.
Oh, okay. So then here comes the year after that car incident thing.
Okay.
So a year after, she decides, I'm gonna have a child.
That's what happened first.
That's what happened first.
That's true.
She wants to have a child. She couldn't have the child.
Right.
She's healthy, but I don't know if it was like stress or just, you know, like sometimes when you like think about it too much, you just can't. Yeah. So that triggered her depression again, thinking to herself, and she wasn't coming out, and she was stressed, and like I want a baby and I can't. Yeah. And like we're like, why do you want a baby? She's like, because then that way I have something. She thought having a baby was like, I'm gonna have something to do, someone to fight for, someone to take care of at all times. Like, this baby's gonna cry and I'm gonna have to get up. Yeah. I'm gonna have to feed this baby. I'm gonna have to bathe this baby. I'm gonna have to change this.
But she has to do that for herself already.
But you know what? I'm telling you, like, they don't think about it that way.
Yeah.
So that was her thing, and then it didn't happen. It kind of triggered her depression a little bit. She was very sad and stuff. We decided to give her a puppy, a 3-month-old puppy. And we're like, here's your baby. Yeah. For Mother's Day. Oh, damn it.
Well, she wanted to be a mother.
She did.
So you guys gave her a baby.
We gave her a baby, a 3-month-old baby. Puppy. Super cute. And, well, she was like a dog.
Did she not like dogs before?
We live in an apartment, and so she was always like growing up, all of us together is like, we can't have dogs here. Like, it's a small apartment. We can't have dogs.
There's no space.
There's no space. Like, it's gonna pee in here. It's who's gonna clean up after it? Yeah. Like, all these things. Right. We showed her the picture. We're gonna pick it up now. And like,
you get no option. It's coming.
And then she's like, what's the adult in the house gonna say? He's gonna kick us out. Like, you know, like, no, we're gonna get you a dog. She fell in love with the dog. This dog was so small that, like, when it slept, like it was sucked. Like, it was dreaming about its mom or something. And she just melted, and she was like, its paws were tiny. It was fluffy. So it's a mixture of a Pomeranian and a Chihuahua. So you can imagine how, like, tiny. So she was obsessed. You know when, like, grandmas knit for their grandkids? This person was knitting for the dog, knitting dresses. She became obsessed with it. And when the adult was like, get this dog out of my house, and she's like, well, I'm leaving with the dog. Like, what do you
deal with it?
Deal with it. Either the dog stays or me and the dog leave. And it's like, okay, fine, the dog can stay. Like, it's not like, you know, everyone fell in love with this dog. And it was like, what she wanted in the baby, it's like, another thing, Hispanics are like, the dog can't sleep in your bed. Right. Okay, this dog slept with her. And we were just like, the dog's sleeping with you? It's not sleeping on the dog bed? Like, oh no, it's sleeping with me. Okay, fine, you know? And if this dog wakes up at 6 in the morning crying because it's hungry, she was getting out of bed at 6 in the morning to give the dog breakfast. She was drinking her coffee, cleaning the house. If the dog wanted to wake up at 3 in the morning to play with the dog toy, she was getting out of bed and playing with her dog. And I was like, well, you wanted a baby because you wanted to get out of your room. Right. You wanted to have that motivation. Well, the dog was doing that for her. It helped her. And
I love dogs.
You know what? Yeah. It has become her companion.
Yeah.
Now we were like, well, now you have a dog. You have to go walk your dog.
Exactly.
Okay, now she was...
to get out of the house.
Yeah. So now she had a motivation also to go out of the house, walk her dog, you know, like every day. And if you don't walk your dog's going to be like annoying you until you do it, you know? And I don't know, it worked for her. And I'm happy it worked for her. She doesn't take medication, and she's had this dog for 8 years.
Yeah. Now you're giving away your own age. No, I'm just kidding.
No. She's had the dog for a while now, and so.
But so then now she's taking that motivation, which is awesome, to do that. And then I remember going to the beach with the dog, and like. Going out with you guys to the beach as well, and that's so like therapeutic. I personally love the beach.
Hikes, something that we would never do.
Hikes, yes.
She started loving hikes, and she was,
that's true.
And she'd be like, "Oh, we need to go on a hike to take the dog."
Yeah,
but probably not to say I love going on hikes.
Yeah,
you know,
or I needed to feel better.
Yeah, I want to go on a hike to feel better. No, it was like I need to walk my dog.
Right.
Oh, after that car incident thing, she never drove again. Like, she would drive in case of an emergency, which she has, because she's driven here.
Yeah.
She has now.
Yeah.
But for those...
It's taken
her over 5 years for her to drive. Like,
yeah.
Because she did get, like, maybe, like, anxiety from being on the wheel and seeing all the cars. Yeah.
And not being able to react
properly. To it. Because I kept telling her, why wouldn't you... She was like, I couldn't, like, my brain was not sending the signals even though I felt like I should speak up.
She might have been inside freaking out, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, she was probably, like, freaking out inside, and she couldn't.
Yeah.
But, I'm glad she did.
Yeah, eventually.
I'm glad she did, and that all the other cars were, like, honking, trying to get her attention, because I'm over here trying to, like, push her, too, and I was ready to get out of the car and get her out so I could move the car, and, like, just, like, trying to snap you. I was trying to
snap her out of it.
Yeah.
Or get yourself to safety. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now this is a little bit more personal, just so we can kind of end here. But have you personally ever felt depressed?
I have. And people ask if I'm pretty sure you asked your other friend if she thought it was genetic.
Right.
And I honestly think it's genetic. Not only because of myself that I felt depressed before, maybe it hasn't gotten to the point where it's as bad as hers.
Right.
Even though, actually, I take that back. It has been probably as bad as hers, but not for that long.
Right.
That she had it. Like, I could probably go 2 days without coming out of my room.
Right.
Without showering, without eating.
Before me asking you now, did you catch on that it was that it could have been that, like, you were depressed, or was it just like, I'm just not in the mood kind of thing? Like,
no. I started realizing, because I'm telling you, I went to the doctor with her.
Oh, okay.
So I knew what
the symptoms and what could have been,
and I was like, oh no, like this is depression. Like,
right.
She was not the only one in my family that suffered with it, and this other person did go to therapy, and I also struggled with the other person. So I didn't have just one person in my family, I had two. And I think I would make myself, like, try to be strong and not feel that. Like, I'm not gonna feel depressed. Right. I'm not gonna
They need me to be the strong one.
I don't want to feel depressed. I don't want to feel that way. But you know what? Sometimes you just gotta let yourself feel this. To me, I was like, I just need to let myself feel the sadness, because I hold it in too much, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I felt like I was holding it in too much for them not to notice it. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna let them. And, like, I had told this person, like, oh, I think it's genetic because so and so has it, and I'm starting to feel this way sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's not the first time I felt it, but back then I used to like hide it.
Right.
But now I was like, I don't want to hide it. Like,
Yeah.
I just want to, like, like, let myself feel or whatever. And I think,
and express it, like, not be ashamed of it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you can't keep hiding it either.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because when you hide it...
Yeah. I think it affects you when you hide it. Yeah. Like,
well, it's kind of like swallowing your emotions.
Yeah.
Like, when you're angry or when you're sad and you swallow it, you're just kind of like, nobody can see. Mm-hmm. And then it starts to reflect. I personally feel that emotions start to reflect on your body. Like, recently with my personal family loss, I've seen some of my family members that it's resulted in them being diagnosed with certain things that they'll be like, I would never believe that I was going to be sick, you know? And your body starts to hurt. Like, what happens when you're super stressed out? Your neck, your shoulders tense up. You get headaches, you get migraines, and that's kind of what happens. Like, it results in your body physically because you're swallowing your emotions and you're not letting them go. So, yes, feel sad. Feel sad, but be like Beyonce. Give yourself one day to be sad, or give yourself one day to be angry, and then forget about it. Like,
and I feel like I learned also from dealing with the people around me with depression. I'm like, okay, I'm going to feel sad today. Yeah. But tomorrow I'm going to wake up. I'm going to do what I have to do. Yeah. If I don't mind doing things on my own. Right. I don't need someone to come with me on a long walk.
And that's the problem. That a lot of us are always codepending on other people.
Like, I need a walk buddy. I need someone,
a workout buddy.
Gym buddy. Yeah. I after seeing, I felt like I was this person's buddy. Right. And I helped her a lot. And I'm happy I helped her a lot. Yeah. And this person for a long time.
We're not saying there's nothing wrong with having a workout buddy or a buddy.
I'm just saying, me myself, I know how to do things. I'd rather do things on my own.
But it's a good thing. Mm-hmm. After the breakup, my last big breakup, that was a big deal, and I had to make an announcement. I felt like that. I felt like I could not go anywhere or do anything without my other person, and it hit me so bad because I feel like I've always been super independent. Mm-hmm. So then what did I decide to do? I decided to go to the movies by myself, and I was embarrassed.
But nobody really cares.
Exactly. Right? And so
I'm like, embarrassed?
Yeah, so I was embarrassed. Why? And I was feeling like, oh, everybody's gonna think I'm a fucking weirdo.
For sitting here alone?
For sitting here alone and watching a movie by my... Girl, I picked the worst movie. I love this movie, but I picked the worst movie because I was in that depressed mood. I went to see the Joker by myself. Mm-hmm. It's a super depressive movie. Oh. And I was like literally on the road, and I was like, I could really just drive off and like die, and nobody would probably care. And then I was like, psh, bitch, what are you talking about? Like, wake up. Like, you can't, like, it was cool to process the emotions. I feel really good about doing it, about actually going to the movies by myself. But yeah, I picked the worst movie by myself.
Yeah, so when I'm feeling depressed, I do that. I'll stay in my room. I'll feel depressed. But then I tell myself, tomorrow you're gonna wake up. Right. If I work, I'm gonna go to work. As soon as I get out of work, I'm not gonna come and throw myself in this room. Yeah. On this bed. Yeah. I'm not gonna close my blinds. I'm gonna get home. I'm gonna change, and I'm going for a walk. Yeah. I'm going for a hike by myself, or I'm going to a store. Like, I don't necessarily even sometimes shop. I just walk around the store and be like...
This is why men don't understand why it's important sometimes.
This is why men don't understand why we take so long at Target.
It's like, therapy.
I'm just looking at things. Yes. Like, okay.
Shopping window. Okay?
Yeah, window shopping.
No, your
shopping window?
Is Mexican.
Oh. I was like, what? So, yeah. So, I do stuff like that because... that's what I would do for this other person. Yeah. If I seen this person
like, come on, let's go. Let's
the next day I'd be like, come on, we're gonna go do this. Yeah. Because you can't be in this bed again. You were in this bed yesterday. Yeah. So I learned that from what I would do. So I do it on my own now. That's
have you thought of doing therapy?
No, because it's taboo. I think I think update the person that we were talking about earlier has come to me after recent things that happened.
Yeah.
Um,
Traumatic, emotional,
very,
very life changing
yes,
things
that happened to this person.
Yeah.
She came to me and said, crying, like, I want to get therapy. I'm accepting the fact that I want to get therapy, but it was during the pandemic, so I was like, I need to find, your insurance needs to have someone that can text you, because I can't just look for a therapy place because they're closed right now.
Yeah.
So
but we seen some that, like, I was telling you earlier about it. I feel like there's some that you can call now. You can even do video calling. You can do texting. And it's just knowing that you have somebody on the other end that you can, like, communicate. I feel like it's kind of like, hey, I feel like I'm falling back. Like, I need a hype man. Like, you got to tell me I can do this, you know?
Yeah. So with me, I feel like I don't get it as often, and I feel like I like the way that I deal with it.
Right.
So I don't feel like I.
But
really
you found an avenue to work on it. You know, and but you just know that if it ever gets that bad,
oh no,
you can reach out. Yeah. You can reach out to me, you know, all the time.
Yeah,
but you can reach out to.
And you know how we're talking about how it's so taboo in, like, culture. Yeah, sorry. In our culture, after she accepted that she needed therapy, the rest of her family
followed through,
because when I came to them and said, you all need therapy, I had one of her siblings say, oh, we don't do therapy, we don't, that's for crazy people. I'm like, no, it's not for crazy people. It's for you to tell them what you cannot tell me. Yeah. And because when you tell me these things, it just feels like you're throwing a pack of rocks on me. Like,
who's also going through this traumatic experience
with you. Like, I'm going through this with you too, so I understand, but you keep saying I don't understand. But you guys need it. And then so I had, from about, let me see, I want to say 6 of them, I got almost all of them to agree to do therapy, and about 2 of them that were like, I'll think about it because I don't know if I can. But the rest of them were like, okay, we're open to it. Yeah. Like, they're open to it because it's something they've never experienced. Yeah, they were like, therapy? What is therapy? We don't need therapy. We're not crazy. And I'm like, that's not what it's for. Yeah. Like, you need someone else to talk to. We cannot talk to each other about what we all are going through because we're all going through it together. Yeah. Like, we really, one thing is being there for someone in this moment, but another thing is letting it out, and it's easier to let it out with someone you don't know. I feel
who has no judgment, or who you won't be like, I'm gonna hurt your feelings by telling you, like, or trigger you. Like, I feel like between friends, that's one of the things that, like, happens too. Like, there've been times where I felt like I wanted to go to you, and then I was like, but she just went through this. Like, how is that gonna make her feel? Like, is she gonna, I know she would probably identify, but, like, is she healed? Is she good to, like, talk to me about how I can feel better, or how I can be strong for my loved one? You know, like, I thought you were gonna cry first. But when you were talking right now about, like, when one of us does it, like, then the other one will fall through, and, like, my personal loved one had the opportunity to go to therapy, and I kept insisting, like, we must do this, like, you must go, because they gave it to you because obviously they're seeing how you're feeling. And she never did. And I'm like, I've been asking for this help that back in the day was expensive and not as accessible to all of us, and I never got it, and now you get it for free, and you're like, I feel like you're ungrateful, you know, because I've always asked you to help me and to find a way to, like, help me deal with whatever I'm going through, and now you get it, now that you're going through it, and you're not taking advantage of it. Like, take advantage of it, you know, you have it for free. I just kept thinking, like, you have it for free, I never got it, and you're not even, and then here I sit, like, trying to figure out how to help you when to me, because I speak so much about therapy, I'm like, to me, you have the cure, and you don't want to share it, and you don't want to take it. Like, that was my view on it, like, my thing on it, how, like, it just felt like you're selfish and ungrateful. No, I'm just kidding. But,
Yeah.
how I'm glad that you found an outlet and that you have a way to work on it on yourself, and that you can count on me if you need it, if you need to talk about it, and you would never be a burden on me. I always tell this to you, but yeah, it's important to talk about it, and if you ever feel like you have to, like, don't feel, like I said, like I'm always telling everyone, your family doesn't have to know. You can tell them you're going to yoga. You can tell them you can use me as an excuse. Just let me know so I won't post us. But you can tell me that you can use me as an excuse saying you're coming to see me and you're going to therapy. Like, just find what makes you feel good and what an avenue for you to express how you're feeling and, like, let go. We go to the beach often.
Yeah.
Sometimes together, and we'll find each other.
That's another thing. I love going to the beach alone. I love going to the beach at night.
Yes.
It's someone once said that's unsafe. Like, you know what?
Everything's unsafe.
Everything's unsafe.
You could be driving and, like, hurt yourself.
Go get yourself those keychains with, like, pepper spray and everything.
Yes. Where's mine? I don't have mine.
But
yes, I have it here.
You know what? Like, people are afraid to do things all the time. Like, no, do it. Trust me. It's so calming.
Yeah.
To do things on your own.
And honestly, I feel like, to me, it's about, like, the sound of the waves, and, like, it feels like a cleanse. Like, you let go.
I love going specifically to Redondo Beach when the waves crash against the rocks.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it's just like, I love to stand there and listen to it. Like, the crash of the waves is what, like, taking deep breaths, the mist hitting your face is like, okay, like, everything's gonna be fine.
Washed it out.
Yes.
And
like,
you're renewed.
It just gives me a sense of, like, you're gonna be fine. Everything is gonna be fine. When I'm stressed, when I'm depressed, if I'm ever feeling anxious, I do things like this.
Yeah.
On windy days, I go on hikes on windy days because the sound of the trees moving is so calming. And, like, I don't know if
do you ever use those sounds to go to sleep? Because I do.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, now I'm doing the meditation music, but I do.
I've heard about this, like, delta waves.
Yeah.
I've heard some of those, like, I don't know if they're beats or what they are, but they're sounds. They're, like, these sounds of, like, delta waves. And I have used that. I don't really use nature because with nature, I feel like it wakes me up. It doesn't calm me, like, to sleep. But it, like makes me feel, like, alive. I don't know if that's a thing. Like, it makes you
sense,
feel
but
awake or, like, so that's why I do that during the day.
Yeah. But I'm so happy that you found an outlet and that you guys are doing so much better, that your loved one is doing so much better as well. And then she did find another outlet. We
started, well, this person is very creative, very hands-on, crafty. So she's always done stuff like that. Like I'm telling you, when she got her puppy, she started knitting dresses.
Yeah.
So she did find an outlet now, and she started a business out of this outlet. And now it's like, since she has this it's small. It's a very small business. Yeah. But
it's an inspiration. It's a motivation.
Yeah, it's a motivation for her to be like, oh, I'm feeling down today, but I have to get this order out. Yeah. This small order for one person that she doesn't have a lot of people buying from her, but when she does, she takes it very
Well, if it wasn't because we don't want to specifically put her on the spot, we would share with you guys her art. But maybe down the line.
I mean, there's no pictures of her, so you can post it. Maybe she could post it on the details.
Yeah, I'll put it on here. There'll be a little, because I can actually add words on there, so I'll put it on here.
Check out her stuff. Like, she
stuff on social media, on Instagram.
She found her outlet, and she's doing good with it. Yeah, and like I'm telling you, sometimes she still wakes up feeling down. Yeah, but like, with her new outlet, she's like, because her puppy is not trying to run a whole mile anymore. So her new outlet after the puppy But no, yeah, she's doing great. She's doing better.
I'm so happy for that,
Mhm.
and so happy that you also learned so much, and
Yeah, throughout the whole
and
process.
you opened yourself to like knowing that you could so now also your own outlet, like how to get help, how to deal with the
Mhm.
situation, and like for yourself and for your other loved ones that you can help.
Mhm.
And hopefully you never have to, but to your children in case that happens, and like how you can teach them about not feeling taboo and not feeling like you can. And if you ever
Oh no, yeah, definitely. And hopefully when I do have children, I'm gonna be more open with
Yeah.
them about feelings and about expressing their feelings,
Yeah.
because I feel it's something that, since it was so taboo growing up,
Yeah.
it was like you can't show that feeling to
Yeah.
someone, or at least with like the way I am, I will swallow my feelings.
Yeah.
I will swallow my anger. I will swallow my sadness,
Yeah.
because I didn't want no one around me noticing it, and
Yeah.
I don't think that's
and
healthy.
one of the things is that when that happens is that it's because you already know that they're going through so much that you feel like a burden.
A burden,
but that's why I keep telling you, even
and like
if,
when
even
they
if
ask
we're going
you,
through
"Are
stuff,
you feeling okay?" Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
That's what you learn to say all the time.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Like, and yeah, no, definitely. I don't wish this to keep going as the generations come by. I feel like
even if it's genetic, like
Even if
teaching them
yeah.
to that there's an outlet.
yeah, always
the
find an
emotions.
outlet.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. Well, we love you guys so much. We will add her information on here so you can go check out her art and her crafty creations. But this has been Shenanigans and More, and this is your psycho host, Alex. And we thank you so much, Dahlia, for coming in and talking about it.
Thank you for having me. When you need me, you can talk to me too.
I
was watching you and I was like, I want to hug her right now.
Well, I even know it's COVID, we can hug each other.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you so much, and it has been a pleasure to talk about this with you guys, and we'll add a little bit more from my other friends and her perspective as to how she was diagnosed with depression and how she felt and how she's dealing with it. And by the way, she's gone this amazing weight loss journey because she'd used I'm not gonna put my words on her mouth, but like I feel like she kind of used exercising as her outlet, and she looks amazing. And she's my host.
Actually, no, yeah, because you know me forever.
Yeah.
You know that when I was feeling down,
Yeah.
I gained weight.
Yeah.
And when I found my outlet, I lost the weight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I good job to her, because I did the same.
Yeah.
I did the same. I found my outlet as going on long hikes.
Yeah.
Or like working out. That was also my outlet. So long walks.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and hiking and being in nature. Sometimes we don't realize. Yeah, we don't realize sometimes though, like how being outdoors, getting some fucking sunlight like can help your mood, man.
Yes.
Like when I got COVID, it was crazy when I was finally able to leave the house just to be in the patio and like get some sunlight. Like I felt amazing. Like I felt like I was getting like a flower. I felt like I was getting energy and like feeling better. But we can talk about this forever. Yes. So we're gonna talk about we're gonna have my friend give you guys a little bit more, and we shall see you guys. But this has been Shenanigans and More, and hope you guys like it. Leave a comment, hit like, and subscribe. Toodles.
Goodbye.
Bye.